Hi, everybody. Ron Placone here. It's very late. I just got back from Bonnaroo 2015, and it was an interesting time. But I have some a bit disappointment in myself, and I'll go into that. So I was attending Bonnaroo with a press pass for the radio show I have here in Nashville, as well as this YouTube channel. And I was going to try to get some good coverage. I've never been to a Bonnaroo before. This is my first time. I had done a comedy competition earlier in the week in Louisville, Kentucky. And the way the competition works was you had to advance each night to still be alive. So I was like, well, I'll still do the competition because who knows, I might, get knocked out the first night and then go to Bonnaroo. I ended up doing pretty okay and did not get eliminated until Saturday night. I didn't win, but I missed all those days of Bonnaroo. So the only actual day of Bonnaroo I attended was today, Sunday, and that's when I'm recording this for a live effect of just off the scene. So I get back to town to Nashville, and I go Sunday morning to the festival. For whatever reason, instead of getting a press pass, I just got a general admission pass. I don't know why that was. I don't know if it was a mistake or if that's just the way it is, but I thought, well, maybe that's just the way it is there because I've never covered Bonnaroo before. It's my first time. So I arrive and I'm thinking, I don't know who I'm going to get to talk to, if anybody. My goal is Robert Plant, or was Robert Plant. I don't know if I'm going to accomplish that. My first encounter, a guy comes up to me and says, yo, and I respond. I say, yo, back. And I guess it was sort of a bit of an interview. He volunteered some information for me. He was looking for a fine lady to smoke his dope ass blunt with. I do not think he was offering it to me, nor do I think he was saying, hey, man, let's partner up and figure something out here. Because I was in sunglasses and I had multiple bandanas covering my entire face to shield myself from the sun, and I was by myself. I don't think anything about me said, let's go party and whatever. But that was my first encounter. When you get to the line to get into the venue, there is a moat of what I believe is human urine. I think it's just urine and whatever else, probably like water and residue and syphilis. I don't know, all kinds of stuff. So there's that. That's in there as well. So you cross the moat, you cross the urine moat, and you have a little wristband thingy. You show your wristband thingy, then you're in the event. The first group I saw was Shaky Graves, and I'd heard some of their stuff. They get spun a lot on AAA radio and also on Americana, stuff like that. Not commercial stuff, and they might even have some commercial success too. I'm not sure, to tell you the truth, because I don't listen to commercial radio, but so I recognized some of their songs, and the ones I didn't recognize, I liked a lot. I actually liked their show a good bit. They kind of have this atmospheric, almost ambient type thing, but then they combine it with sort of a roots and sort of almost like a mellow pop sound. And I know that sounds weird, but if you hear them, it kind of makes sense. Like I feel like that was sort of what they're doing, and I really like it, and I really love the dude's voice. So I enjoyed them a good bit. The next big thing I saw was Bela Fleck and Abigail Washburn. Bela Fleck is among the most notable banjo players in the world, and Abigail Washburn performed with him. And I knew I was going to enjoy this. I was excited about it, but I didn't know if I'd be into the full hour. I like banjo playing a good bit, but I don't know if I'm into it for a full hour. But their set ended up really blowing me away. I mean, first of all, one thing I appreciated was at one point Abigail was talking about an environmental issue that was going on in West Virginia, and she made a political statement and did a kind of political protest song protesting capitalism and predatory capitalism. And I, of course, appreciated that a lot. However, this political protest was brought to you by Ford. There was a Ford tent and everything else. So, of course, that's not the performer's fault, but you can't help enjoy the irony and feel a bit cynical because Bonnaroo itself has a lot of corporate sponsorship and a lot of corporate stuff going on there. But anyway, still, nonetheless, wonderful performance, very good, and I enjoyed that an awful lot. Later, I saw Spoon, which I knew I was gonna love, and they did not disappoint. Spoon is one of those bands, and I mean this in a complimentary way, where I have taken them for granted for years and years, and still do. I mean, Spoon's one of those bands. They're a very good band. They have a lot of very good songs. They've been around since the early 90s. I know they're a great band, but I never think of them often. All the Pandora stations I like, Spoon gets played all the time. And I'm never like, oh, yeah, Spoon, until they're literally just right at Bonnaroo when I'm there. But they put on a fantastic show. And later, of course, this is getting pretty exciting for me. Robert Plant, the guy I wanted to talk to, did not get to talk to him, did not even get close. But Robert Plant did do a pretty good set. Now, I consider myself not a critic when it comes to music stuff, but here's one moment where I will be critical. The sound for most of Robert Plant's set was the worst sound at a live show I've ever encountered in my life. I don't know why it was. I don't know if there was maybe an issue with the speaker system or what, but it was atrocious. And I know that in outdoor concerts, you lose something. I mean, I know that. I know it's harder, but I mean, this was really bad. Not just for, I mean, outdoor or otherwise. And it's Robert Plant. I'm thinking like, what is going on? Did they let the intern run sound for this? Because it's just Robert Plant. It's not important or anything. But nonetheless, I solved the question that I never wondered about. Could the worst sound in the world ruin Robert Plant? And the answer is no, it can't. It's still awesome. He did some Zeppelin tunes, but he's with this band, the Shapeshifters, and they do the Zeppelin tunes kind of in their own way. They put a different spin on it. It's not like the recorded songs. They do it their own way. His pipes are still holding up pretty good. He's no spring chicken, but he can still sing pretty well, and his vocals are very demanding. But he still pulls it off very well. And it's Robert Plant. I mean, what more can you say about that? It's Robert Plant. And closing the night was Billy Joel, who also put on a great show. I don't know if he's hitting the bottle hard or not. I know he's had some issues, but he gave off the vibe that he might be. First of all, he was slated to play from 9 to 11:30. He ended up playing till about 10:45. And when he walked off, he did Piano Man right before the encore, and it was great. When he walked off, he seemed kind of confused. And I don't know if it was like a gimmick or an act, or if he was genuinely not sure. And I'm leaning towards the latter the more I think about it. And then just in the encore was fantastic. They played Still Rock and Roll, Uptown Girl, Only the Good Die Young. It was a fantastic, fantastic encore. I'm still surprised he didn't straight up close with Piano Man, but it was a great encore nonetheless. So I don't know if it was one of those things like maybe he was having a hard time and that's why they didn't play the full 2.5 hours, or maybe it was just a typo in the program. I have no idea. I thought after Piano Man he was going to come back out with like a bunch of bands from earlier and they were going to do kind of like a medley type thing, but that's not what happened. So it was a pretty good day. But as from a press standpoint, I am disappointed in myself. I did not understand the protocol in this case. In a lot of smaller music events, you get like a press list, and usually publicists will contact you and stuff like that if they think your show's a good fit for some of their artists, if they want to get their artists some stuff. So there's a little more of a guide map, but I guess Bonnaroo is so big, and there's so many big names and stuff like that. It's kind of a different situation. But I didn't have a media pass. For whatever reason, I was just given a general admission pass. I don't know if that was a mistake again, but a buddy of mine did get a media pass, and he told me, yeah, there were like press tents and stuff, but I think it was just a place to get free Wi-Fi. I don't think there were any artists hanging out there or anything like that. So in my quest to get Robert Plant, I did fail. And in my quest to kind of piece something together, I did fail other than my own review, and I do feel sorry about that. Some critiques of Bonnaroo is that it's just a big party and it's not really about the music, and I can see that a little bit. But sometimes there's nothing wrong with having fun and nothing wrong with having a good party. And, there's other festivals that are more strictly just about the music, and that's great too. I enjoy that too, and I enjoy the music. But I think the alternative, not having something like a Bonnaroo, I don't think that's a good thing. I think it's a wonderful thing that something like this exists. And yes, I mentioned it is very corporate and there's a lot of stuff like that going on. I'm certainly not going to pretend that that's not there. But, I feel like the good outweighs the bad, and I'm glad I got to experience it firsthand. And one thing that I've also seen, and I'm also pretty okay with this, Hipster Billy is alive and quite well, just the way that Shaky Graves were received, the way Bela Fleck was received, and stuff like that. The whole like kind of hipster Billy roots Americana connection into the adult contemporary world and into the like hip independent music world is very, very alive and well and very strong. And I remember in 2006 when that first started to. The first wave of that kind of came in, then it dipped a little bit, and I feel like now it's really on the rise, and I'm kind of okay with that. I think it's kind of making music more eclectic, and it's kind of really like a embracing a kind of postmodern chapter in music and what really works. I mean, just look at something like a Bonnaroo. You had Against Me, and you had Billy Joel, you had Slayer, and you had Shaky Graves, and you had Florence and the Machine, who I also did. I got to catch half of their set because I had to go over for Robert Plant. But her voice is as good live as it is on the records. And I do enjoy their stuff, but unfortunately, I could only stay for part of it because I had to go see Robert Plant. So those are some of my thoughts on Bonnaroo. If you attended, give me a shout. Let me know what you thought. Let me know how it was for you. I want to hear some other thoughts, especially since I did have to miss a good portion of it. This is Ron Placone signing out.